Hello, this is Jeff Lumpkin from Kensai. I want to share some of the analyses that my colleagues and I have been doing on the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States as well as around the world. So this view, which I call a tabular view because of the two prominent tables here, I focus in on a number of metrics. So in the center table, I look at the total number of confirmed cases by date, cases by day, total deaths, and then deaths by day. The table on the right has confirmed cases for the past 7 days by state as well as by county. So if I open up New York State, we'll see New York County, Manhattan featured prominently at the top, followed by counties with lesser cases. In the graph on the lower left, I'm looking at confirmed cases by day and deaths by day. And so this is for the entire US. What is prominent here is that in the second half of March, we began this very sharp increase in the number of cases by day, reaching something of a plateau in early April, on the 4th of April. And since then, we've been at a fairly flat plateau, meaning we have not brought down the number of cases in any significant way and have not, we may have flattened the curve, but we've not reduced the curve by any means. And it's easy to see this when we look at the US in comparison to other countries. So those 6 countries on the left side are where daily cases have not been flattened. On the right side, where daily cases have been flattened and the curve has really been brought sharply down. So starting out on the left side, United States, United Kingdom are both at high plateaus where cases are not really falling off. 3 countries have very sharp increases: Brazil, Russia, and Belarus. And then Sweden is at a high plateau as well. In Sweden's case, it is an intentional policy of the government to, as rapidly as possible, acquire herd immunity while protecting vulnerable populations, such as the elderly and those with chronic conditions. That said, the Swedish experiment is one that I think is causing some raised eyebrows, given that death rates in Sweden are higher than in other parts of Europe. Now let's contrast that with those countries on the right side, where number of daily cases has been brought down very sharply through the means of social distancing, prolific testing, and contact tracing. So the discipline with which these countries have fought the virus has absolutely shown positive results. And what that means is that these countries on the right will much sooner be able to truly and safely open up their economies, whereas those on the left are still in the middle of this battle. So now coming back to the US, in the press this week, there's been a lot of mention about states moving towards opening up their economies, particularly states in the Midwest. So if we look here on this map in the middle, it is colored by the days to double. So green states are those states where the days to double is fairly high. So let's look at Montana at 35 days, Washington State at 31 days. And then red states are those where the days to double is more rapid. So most prominent here is Minnesota, 8 days, Iowa, 11 days, Nebraska, 10 days, Kansas, 12 days. If we want to look at a more granular level, let's come now to the county level choropleth map that I have, in which there are 2 metrics. So the choropleth is colored by those counties by days to double. So red indicating the fastest days to double, green indicating the slowest days to double. Height of the columns indicates the number of cases per 1,000 of population. So let's drill in on Minnesota and note the cases per the days to double. So Itasca County, 3 days to double. Wadena County, also 3 days. Douglas County, also 3 days. Cuyahoga County, 6 days. Minneapolis, which is Hennepin County, is at 10 days. And then very prominently in terms of the height of the column here is Nobles County, Minnesota. This is the site of a meatpacking plant, which saw a really horrible outbreak within employees of that plant. Next door in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, we saw a similar spike in cases, so 2,200 cases in Minnehaha County, Sioux Falls, again coming from a meatpacking plant. So just 2 examples, but I think it's clear meatpacking plants are not a safe place to be. Going down now to Nebraska, it is the intensity of days to double is really spread out broadly across the state. It's moved from east to west. So Douglas County, Omaha, saw an early outbreak, and the days to double actually remains fairly high there at 6. Moving farther west, McPherson County is at 1 day to double. Morrill County also at 1 day. But these Midwestern states are in for some I think some really rapid changes. Now, if we focus on a different section of the U.S. in the southeast, we're going to see examples of very high cases per 1,000 in a few counties. One of them being, and the most prominent being, Trousdale County. In Trousdale County, 1,300 confirmed cases, 154 per capita. So this is the highest in the U.S., and this was a prison outbreak. So there are other examples where we see prison outbreaks in Indiana and Ohio. So in Indiana, in Cass County, there was a prison outbreak. And then if we go to Ohio, in Marion County, we also saw a similar very high number of cases. So these are very stark examples of how quickly the virus can spread in populations that have very little control or ability to social distance. And it is a cautionary tale in that unless we are able to maintain social distancing, able to maintain the disciplines which can bring down the virus, we're not going to be effective in dealing with it in the short term. Hope this has been useful for you. Thank you.